Well, I'm not an expert. I'm not an authority. I'm someone who has been a murderer for almost 20 years.
Before the world knew his name, before he became a towering figure in the darkest chapters of true crime, Edmund Kemper was learning how to survive in a household built on fear. He didn't grow up with guidance. He grew up with hostility. His mother's voice followed him everywhere, sharp, belittling, relentless. Nothing he did was enough. Nothing he said mattered, and eventually he stopped talking back altogether. He learned silence, not peaceful silence, but the kind that grows heavy and dangerous. As a boy, he was already larger than life, towering over his classmates. But physical size didn't make him strong. It made him visible, a target for ridicule, for suspicion, for the resentment of the woman who raised him. Beneath that pressure, Kemper's mind didn't break. It hardened. He retreated into fantasies, first as a coping mechanism, then as a blueprint. By 14, those fantasies crossed into reality, but the system didn't see a rising threat. They saw a troubled kid they believed they could reform. He was sent to a state hospital for the criminally insane, where something unexpected happened. He adapted. Instead of receiving treatment, Kemper observed, studied, absorbed the language of psychology like a second skin. He listened to how doctors analyzed inmates, how they identified patterns, how they judged progress, and he used that knowledge to reshape himself.
I went into that hospital. The nurse came out, and she was the typical battle axe professional nurse, been on the job 20 years, great woman with a wheelchair, severe, stern face, and she's looking at me with razor blades. She could just dice me up in a second without thinking about it. She's really having fits. You know, I'm in the chair, she wheels me inside. 5 hours later when I come out of there, you know, she's wheeling me out, and as I'm getting into the car, I got this tortured look on my face. I've been crying, I've been tearing at myself, and she looks at me with this very compassionate look, and she says, "Good luck." Because she got a good look at what was really inside. She was already aware of the evil I was capable of, and the horror that had happened in the case, and now she saw a lot of my real feelings. And in her knowledge of chemicals and medicine and treatments and all of that, she knew I wasn't faking.
He was articulate, cooperative, intelligent, everything they believed a rehabilitated young man should be. At 21, armed with a vocabulary that could disarm professionals and a mask polished to perfection, Ed Kemper convinced the doctors he was ready for freedom. They signed his release papers. And in a decision that would echo through American history, they sent him back to the last place he should have ever returned, his mother's home. He walked through her door no longer a confused boy, but a young man who had learned how to mimic sanity, mask impulses, and hide a storm behind calm, measured words. A storm that was already building, and soon it would find its first target.